Hello, grade 7. Today our lesson is about adjective clauses. The lesson is divided into 7 subtitles. 1. Adjective clauses, introduction. 2. Using who and that in adjective clauses to describe people. 3. Using object pronouns in adjective clauses to describe people. 4. Using pronouns in adjective clauses to describe things. 5. Singular and plural verbs in adjective clauses. 6. Using prepositions in adjective clauses. And 7. Using whose in adjective clauses. Starting with subtitle 1, Adjective Clauses Introduction. Like an adjective clause modifies a noun. It describes or gives information about a noun. But unlike an adjective that usually comes in front of a noun, an adjective clause follows a noun. Example: I met a man who is kind to everybody. Man is the noun, and the adjective clause that modifies the noun man is who is kind to everybody. I met a man who is a famous poet. I met a man who lives in Chicago. So let's remember, what is a clause? A clause is a structure that has a subject and a verb. Example: I met a man. There are 2 kinds of clauses. An independent clause is a main clause and can stand alone as a sentence, like example, he lives in Chicago. And a dependent clause and cannot stand alone as a sentence. It must be connected to an independent clause. Example of a dependent clause: who lives in Chicago. Subtitle 2, Using who and that in adjective clauses to describe people. In adjective clauses, who and that are used as subject pronouns to describe people. Both who and that are common in conversation, but who is more common in writing. Example: the man who lives next to me is friendly. So the adjective clause who lives next to me modifies the noun man. The woman that lives next to me is talkative. The adjective clause that lives next to me modifies the noun woman. The subject pronouns who and that cannot be omitted from an adjective clause, and it's incorrect to say the woman lives next to me is talkative. The adjective clause immediately follows the noun it modifies, and it is incorrect to say the woman is talkative that lives next to me. So then, since the adjective clause that lives next to me modifies the noun woman, it should immediately follow the noun woman. Moving to subtitle 3, Using object pronouns in adjective clauses to describe people. In adjective clauses, that, who, and whom are used as object pronouns to describe people. Example: the man that I met was friendly. The man who I met was friendly, or the man whom I met was friendly. So the pronouns that, who, and whom work as object pronouns in these sentences. Now, unlike the subject pronouns, an object pronoun can be omitted from an adjective clause, and this is the most common choice for both speaking and writing. Example: the man I met was friendly. Subtitle 4, Using pronouns in adjective clauses to describe things. We saw that who and whom refer to people, but which refers to things, and that can refer to either people or things. When that and which are used as the subject of an adjective clause, they cannot be omitted. Example: the river that flows through the town is polluted. So that flows through the town is the adjective clause that modifies the thing river. The river which flows through the town is polluted. And it is incorrect to say the river flows through the town is polluted. Remember, when the pronouns that and which are used as the subject of an adjective clause, they cannot be omitted. That or which can be used as an object pronoun in an adjective clause. Example, the books that I bought were expensive, or the books which I bought were expensive. In writing, that is the most common pronoun used. Unlike a subject pronoun, an object pronoun can be omitted from an adjective clause. Example, the books I bought were expensive. Subtitle 5. Singular and plural verbs in adjective clauses. The verb in the adjective clause is singular when who refers to a singular noun. Example, I know the man who is sitting over there. So the adjective clause who is sitting over there refers to the singular noun man. So the verb be is in its singular form is. Now the verb in the adjective clause is a plural when who refers to a plural noun. Example, I know the people who are sitting over there. Who are sitting over there refers to the plural noun people. So the verb be is in its plural form are. Subtitle 6. Using prepositions in adjective clauses. That, whom, and which can be used as the object of preposition in an adjective clause. Let's look at some examples. The man that I talked to was nice. We have the preposition to. The man whom I talked to was nice. Or the man I talked to was nice. Another example, the chair that I am sitting in is hard with the preposition in. The chair which I am sitting in is hard, or the chair I am sitting in is hard. Now guys, if the preposition comes at the beginning of the adjective clause, only whom or which may be used. The pronoun cannot be omitted. A preposition is never immediately followed by that or who. Example, the man to whom I talked was nice. We have the preposition to that is followed by whom. The chair in which I am sitting is hard. Again, the preposition that comes at the beginning of the adjective clause is followed by which. And it is incorrect to say the man to I talked was nice, because remember, if the preposition comes at the beginning of the adjective clause, the pronoun cannot be omitted. And it is incorrect to say the man to that I talked was nice, because the preposition can never be followed by that or who. Subtitle 7. Using whose in adjective clauses. Whose shows possession. The man whose car was stolen called the police. We have the adjective clause whose car was stolen that shows possession. I know a girl whose brother is a movie star. So whose brother is a movie star is the adjective clause and it shows possession. Whose and whose have the same pronunciation but not the same meaning. Whose with an apostrophe s can mean who is or who has. Example, that's the boy who's in my math class. To say, that's the boy who is in my math class. Or, that's the boy who's been living with our neighbors since his mother became ill. To say, that's the boy who has been living with our neighbors since his mother became ill. Thank you for listening. Grade 7.